Hi guys, it's Abby from Two Girls, One Cut. Brittany is here, Trace is here.
Hello.
Um, I just wanted to tell you a couple things before we get started. You can find us at our Facebook page, Nighthawk Radio. You can find us at Nighthawk Radio. No, I'm sorry, nighthawk-radio.com. You can find us on the 365 app. You just have to look us up under Nighthawk Radio. And then, of course, on YouTube and Spotify under Nighthawk Radio. Repetitive, I know, but that's what we need. The phone number that you can reach us at is 606-657-0961. That's going to be for any kind of accolades, complaints, disgruntled comments, um, or just questions in general. I also wanted to let you know that Friday night is going to be a Flashback Friday. It's going to start at 8 p.m. It's the Haunted Chronicles with Jimmy Haunted. And then following up at 9 p.m. is going to be Awakening Radio. It's going to be a 2013 recorded episode that features Junebug Fugit. So just a few things to look forward to, but not anything to look forward to more than John Wayne Gacy.
The coup de grace.
Absolute one of the meccas, one of the golden goose egg serial killers in America.
Who is one of those KFC and Sodomy. That's right. I was wondering how long it was going to take before somebody said it.
I wanted to say it in the entry. I didn't feel like that it was appropriate right off
But
the rip.
the
So
least
I
person,
did it.
Do it for you.
the last person I thought would say it would be Brittany.
Would be Brittany. And what did she do?
Splurts it out.
Real
We gotta
quick.
go ahead and just get that off the table.
My God.
So, but he is one of those that we talk about frequently who can melt in and out of regular society and psycho society.
Honestly, I think that he was better than Dennis Rader in the way that he had a very public persona.
Mm-hmm.
He literally was in everything from the JCs to he owned his own business, and he was literally interwoven in his community as a business owner, a contractor, a job giver. Like, he held a lot of different titles, and he was loud and he was proud about a lot of the things he did. He was also a member of the Polish American Alliance.
Yeah.
He shook hands with a Kennedy here and there.
Politicians,
Like,
big politicians,
he
yeah.
was literally among some of the elite.
He was
And
hiding in plain sight.
oh, I like that.
Yeah.
100%. And that's hard to do. But I feel like that was his comfort zone, and that was how he got what he wanted, which just happened to be young boys.
Yeah, he would offer them jobs to,
All
hey,
kinds
swing
of
by my
things.
house and we'll pay you double what you're making now. And they never
Right.
left.
Right.
They just never left.
Right. Well, they'd never swung a hammer either. And, here he was talking about I'll pay you in 1975 double what minimum wage was, and you have zero experience. You've never done anything. I'm going to take you under my wing. I'm going to train you. I'm
Yeah.
going to pretty much groom you.
And tie you
And
up
then I'm
and choke you
going
out.
then I'm going to sexually assault you and kill you.
And
Choke the
stuff
air
you
out
under
of
the
your
house.
lungs.
Yeah.
Under my mom's house or my house or whose ever house. So I feel like he definitely could take 3 hours worth of the show.
Oh, yeah.
But we will try to do what we can do in a 60 minutes time frame. So I'm not good as far as with dates and times. I do know that before he really started his killing spree in the Chicago area, he had gotten in trouble in a different area, but I'm not for sure where. I don't
I think it
remember.
was Des Moines, Iowa.
It was in
Okay.
Iowa.
Yeah, somewhere in
Okay.
Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that he had gotten an early conviction. He was one though that it seemed like I feel like he grew up in a regular family, regular childhood. His dad was very strict, very harsh. Um,
I think his dad was
he
also an alcoholic.
definite alcoholic, very critical of him, but I think it forced him to be that person that he was, and he did so well because if you would take out the crime part and the sodomy part, he was really an upstanding citizen. You know, like
Yeah,
he
really, he was. There was what he was married though, right? At one
he was
time.
married twice.
And his father-in-law gave him a KFC franchise.
Hmm.
Correct. He's yep, started him out, I believe, as like a kind of like a crew leader, and he worked his way up to general management,
Yeah.
and he perfected it. Like his dad, his own father kind of gave him grief about it because, you know, look at you, you're working as a fast food manager, but he took it to the top like he did pretty much every single career that he had. You know, he wasn't content just being a low level bottom of the totem pole guy. Like he was going to rise up in
And then
every aspect of his
eventually,
life.
he got, you know, the acceptance from his father, I think, in his opinion. You know, eventually his dad was like, wow, you know, I think it said that his dad even like apologized to him and was like, you know, I'm really sorry. I'm proud of what you've done. You know, you're doing a great job. But
Right. And I believe he died before
mhm.
the the big stuff
Oh
started
yeah,
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
So
the
he was
convention
not
and
tainted. Yes.
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and also I think I read that, like whenever he was younger, he was one of three, but the other two were women, or they were girls,
Girl.
and
Mhm.
there was,
Hmm.
you know, mom. So mom and two sisters. He was the only boy, and his dad would, you know, constantly call him dumb, stupid, belittle him, but then he would also, you know, if he ever got upset about certain things, his dad would call him a sissy, um, or oh, you little mama's boy, you're gonna grow up to be queer. Just certain things that would belittle him, and so
Yeah.
I kind of think that that might have taken a toll on him. Um, and then I think I also read that a family friend had molested him when he was younger as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read that as well.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate that any child has to deal with that, but it should definitely show, you know, a pattern that these people that something has went terribly wrong, you
Well, and it
know,
makes you wonder
have had those
how,
things.
like, how these experiences, you know, alter the chemistry of their brain, you know?
Kind of
Oh,
shapes him.
Not right. And not that, like, that is any excuse for the things that they do or how they turn out, but I do definitely think that it alters the chemistry, the makeup
Does
of the
it
oh, it
flip
has to.
does it
mhm.
flip the switch in the part of the brain that gets rid of normal thinking, normal reasoning, emotions to the point to where it's they don't think they're doing anything wrong, or if they do think there's something wrong, they're smart enough to get out of it.
I think both of those things actually applied to him personally because one, he um he would say in his interviews, no, I'm not homosexual. I don't feel that there's anything wrong with being homosexual, but that's not my jam, when obviously it was.
Yeah, because all of his
Um,
victims were men.
right. And then he also had, you know, that arrogance about him that I was doing them a favor, I was giving them a job, I was mentoring them, you know, and those things just happened. It was consensual, he said, on a couple different levels with a couple different people. So like he really didn't see that he was doing anything wrong. Now I think with the sex part, he probably did feel that way. I'm sure that with the strangulation part,
Yeah.
where he wanted to do the rope trick, um, he couldn't really say the same, although I'm sure that he probably was able to spin it in a way that he didn't take accountability then either.
And you mentioned the rope trick, and he would take this rope and wrap around the necks, and
Yeah,
take a stick, and then twist the stick
like
to
a
the
garrote.
point, yeah, to the point to where these guys would just about pass out, and he would let it go.
Yeah,
And he would
yeah,
do this over and over and over until he got done playing with you like the cat and the mouse. And then he
right,
would just tighten it till you never woke up.
I
right.
watched an interview where he was talking and he was showing the person that was interviewing him how he would tie the knot, because investigators were saying, "What kind of knot would you use?" And he's like, "What do you mean? I just tie it and then I tie it again." He said,
Tourniquet knot. He kept calling it a
"Yeah, a
tourniquet
tourniquet
knot.
knot." Yep. And he said, "I learned this in Boy Scouts. Like you just tie
Right.
it and then you put a stick in there and you twist it, and that
Yeah.
tightens it."
Yeah.
So
And it certainly
apparently,
does, especially
mhm,
if you're bleeding from your femoral artery
mhm.
and not trying to squeeze the life out of
Life
someone's
out of somebody.
trachea.
Yes. Yes,
So
exactly.
put yourself in one of the victim's shoes, and this rope is around your neck, and it's tightened and tighter
Okay,
and
so first
tighter.
of all, I just did. I just put my foot right in those shoes, and I thought to myself, if someone approaches me and says, and it's already kind of a creep situation,
Mhm.
hey, I got this little trick and I'd like to show it to you. It's kind of like a fun little game. But you're gonna have to let me slip this rope
Over your
around your
neck.
neck.
Red
That
flag.
right there is going to be my cue
Red
that
flag.
I'm not going to let you show me that trick,
Right,
and
but
I'm going to get the hell out
and
of Dodge.
but some of these guys, he would offer him beer,
Oh yeah,
and so I
absolutely.
mean,
He
Get
if
gives
you
them
get
him.
out first.
somewhat
Yeah.
intoxicated, I mean, especially idiots today would be okay, you know,
Right. Let
and
me
but
eat a Tide Pod and you can tie my throat. That's
yeah,
fine.
with each twist of that thing, it got tighter, and
Hmm.
at some point, you would have to think, "Oh my God, I'm about to die,"
Yep, 100%.
So it's just
And,
scary.
I also found that because he was a contractor, an interior decorator of sorts, he had a very strangely decorated home. And I was thinking to myself, if I was in the room with the pool table and the tiki bar, or if I was in the bedroom and I could see the hallway that looked kind of painted up like Skateland with, like the neon kind of F-shaped stuff going down the wall, and then a big picture of him dressed up as Pogo the Clown, like how terrifying and how unfortunate would be that that would be the last shit I would see.
Man, I hate clowns.
God,
I don't like clowns at all.
I don't understand the fascination with them. I'm not afraid of them. I don't find joy or comfort in them. But I also am not terrified of them.
Mhm.
But I would certainly not want to see his ugly mug painted in white,
And
with a red nose, and that be the last thing that
that's
I
the
see
crazy
in his
thing.
life.
If you see pictures of him dressed up like a clown, he looked like a streetwalker. I
He
mean, it's not even
definitely,
good makeup. It's
no, sir.
it's like a
No, sir.
deranged clown.
Right. And I was pleased before I fell asleep during the interview that I was watching this evening.
Yeah, if
Why he
y'all
named
didn't know
himself.
this, If you, Abby says, "Here we go."
I
Y'all
fell
didn't know
asleep.
this.
We've been waiting
We
for
tried for
30
about.
minutes on Abby to
40
wake her
minutes.
ass up.
I think it was
Yeah,
more like 45
it
minutes.
was
I was trying to be
45.
nice.
And
Mhm. Shout out to
sorry.
Reagan.
Hey,
She tried
love you,
her
Yeah,
Ab.
best.
We
she
love you, Ab.
did. Oh, shoot. But do you all know why he called himself Pogo the Clown?
I do not.
Britt?
No.
So he was Polish by lineage, and
Mhm.
he kind of in his community, I guess there was a lot of Polish individuals, and so he kind of was a leader of like a Polish Alliance group where,
Okay. Yeah.
he held a high-ranking title. And because he worked all the time and he was on the go all the time, he put POGO together, and that's how he came up with Pogo. So
And
Okay.
for
but
Polish and for go.
and by this time he was already in Chicago and done evaded the charges in Iowa. Or
Already
did he
did
serve
his,
time in
he
Iowa?
did.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
he
thought so.
served his time. Yep,
So
his first wife left.
in Iowa, he was the KFC manager. He managed lots of different KFCs. And he was also, a local politician. He was part of the JC. Um, and he also, I think they said that he was like the vice president or something
Yeah,
of the Waterloo, Iowa JCs.
yep.
Um, so there was a fellow JC. He ended up sexually assaulting his son. So, he would throw all these parties and stuff in his basement, and his wife would join these certain parties with all of the JCs, and it, he would, I guess, make relationships with these young boys, the children of all of these other fellow JCs. And I also read that they were like kind of like swapping wives, and lots of
There
horrible
Swingers.
was a
stuff
lot
going
of,
on.
yeah, there was a lot of
A
very
lot of
adult
Yeah.
stuff going on within that sector, I think.
A lot of stuff going on. But there was one particular boy, he was 15, and he kind of blackmailed him into performing sexual favors. And eventually he told his father about it. And so the dad is the one that went to the police and pressed those charges. And there were multiple other boys too. But I don't think he ever got charged for those ones. But
Right.
he did plead guilty to those. He was supposed to serve 10 years. He got out after 18 months. And then what was it, like 12 months probation or something?
But
And
he
then, but
jumped it pretty much, because he went to
yeah.
Chicago
Well, and they
pretty
wanted
soon
him to
after
go back
he,
to Chicago. They were like, you need to go home. You have
right,
to live with your mother. Like, those were the stipulations. But like,
get out of our town.
And
there were
I
still a
think
couple of instances when he first got back to Chicago while he was still on probation, and the charges were dropped. Like, there was one instance, I think, where the victim didn't show up to court, and then there was another one. That one was dropped too. I don't remember why, but that one was dropped as well. And so he was able to, evade anything during his probation. He never got in trouble for any of those,
I think
even
it's
though he
probably
had.
about the time he lost his KFC gig.
Oh, well, see, now right after he pled guilty, his wife divorced him. She
Yep,
divorced him before he ever even got out of jail.
yep,
And he never saw his kids or that first wife ever again because he had two children with her.
yep,
Mm.
yep.
Yeah.
And her father, which was the KFC
Oh, yeah.
man. And those jobs were certainly not waiting for him
Oh,
whenever
no,
he got out.
no. And
No, I don't imagine.
the home that the father had bought,
Mm-mm,
all the things
all
went to
that
the wife. Yep.
gone.
Yep.
Yep, good for her.
Right. Yep.
And good for
Yeah,
the kids
to
because
get
they didn't
out
have to deal with
before
any of
this,
that.
before it broke big, to get out before then, even afterwards, people come around and said, "Hey, wasn't you married to
Oh God, I
and
know.
then Gacy.
or hey, this guy used to run this KFC. What the hell were we eating
Right.
all these years?
Mm.
You know?
Well, and how
Mm-hmm.
embarrassing for the wife and their children,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure just, the very first offense was super duper embarrassing for the
Oh,
wife.
sure. It would be for anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially somebody that's so well known in the community
And the kids. I
and the
mean,
kids.
how to know that your dad was a serial killer and
Yeah. Thank God they didn't have anything to do with him though.
yeah,
Right.
because at that point you could deny it, saying, "No, I don't know that guy.
I don't know that man.
No, that's
Yeah.
not my
Right. And
dad."
they were so young that they
They
honestly
don't
didn't.
they didn't know him, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah,
So
from there he moved.
once he got to Chicago, it was game on.
It
It was
was
ready to
on.
go.
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
Well, right after he moved to Chicago, was it his mom that had bought them a house? Because he had to live with his mom, but his mom bought both of them, bought them a house. They were going to live together. And that's whenever he met his second wife,
Second wife.
was a woman that he went to high school with, I believe.
I feel like yes, and I feel like that she was very um like lenient with him. I think she knew a lot of the things that he was maybe into and turned a blind eye to some of them
hmm
because she kind of played the part for a while. And as long as he was, taking care of her and in the financial aspect of things, she was satisfied until
And then she
he,
also had she also had two children going into that marriage. So,
right,
she felt like, okay, he's taking care
he
of
can
me
take
and
care
my
of my kids.
kids.
Hmm.
Yep. And then Gacy, his mom, moved out of the house too, of course, once
Right.
once he got married and he was off probation, so he didn't have to live with
Hmm.
his mama anymore.
Right. But she
Yeah.
stayed close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definite dysfunction there, I believe.
victim number one. I don't remember the guy's name, but I do remember he was working at a drugstore.
Okay,
And
so that's Rob Peace, and that
okay,
would be the very last victim.
oh, the
Yeah.
last one. I thought it was the first one.
That's the one that got him caught.
Mm-mm. That's the one that got him caught. Yep. He
Oh,
was
okay.
the silver fox, the one that jumped it all off. Um, so there was probably, I don't know, how many did they get him for? 33, I think.
Yeah, I think so. 30. Yeah.
Um, Rob Peace was the only one that was not buried on the property. He was the one that, like Brett said, got him caught. He was
I think he
dumped,
was
I
one of
believe, in the
4.
river.
I think he was one of 4 that were recovered from the river.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I knew that there was that they I want to say 29 then that they pulled off of his property either from the underneath of the
Yeah.
crawl space, the garage that was cemented down in the new floor, and the driveway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one in the driveway. Yeah, I didn't make myself super familiar with his victims, except for Rob Peast, only because he was the one that got him caught and was the very end.
And that's kind of how we figured out how he was doing this.
Right,
You know,
There
right.
were
He just got lazy and sloppy.
yeah,
mhm. There were
because
26 victims found under the crawl space and under his house as a whole. And then there were 3 more bodies buried somewhere else on his property, and then 4 that were discarded in the Des Plaines River.
Okay.
so, but he was working at I guess it was a
Can you
pharmacy
imagine?
drugstore.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine the
he had.
stench?
Well,
Oh God. Well,
listen, the neighbors complained
Ugh.
several times that soon as you could get close to his house, you could smell it. And he
Well,
well,
I
kept,
screamed,
his
"Oh, it's a sewer issue,
Sewer
right?
issue.
The
Yeah, he kept
septic
carrying
issue.
lime. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and putting on those bodies, but he was saying he was covering up a sewer problem.
Yeah, he said because his home was built on soft clay, it stayed moist and wet underneath and would occasionally kind of put off like raw sewage type smell. And so he did indicate that he dumped hundreds of pounds of, is it lye or
Mm-hmm.
lime?
Lie.
Lye
Why?
underneath of there, and like pretty much just ground it up in the soil, in the clay underneath of his house. And
Trying
I'm
to get
sure
rid
that
of the stench.
well, and I can imagine that underneath of there, if it was already wet and then you have
Ugh.
26 bodies, it would literally be like body soup in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
because when a body starts decaying, it turns into paste, jelly.
gases
Mm-hmm.
and liquids and
Yes.
all these things, and then you cover it up with that element of lye and then the soil and who knows what else, and it would just be a big wet soupy mess underneath the floorboard, and
Of
I bet
just,
that just stunk to high heaven.
yeah.
I
And,
mean,
when a body deteriorates, it turns black. And it is like a black jelly. And
hmm.
it's just the most god awful stench that you could ever imagine. And you know what? He went to bed every single night with that stench. And,
He became nose blind.
well, I mean,
Oh shoot,
I mean, I could see him laying
that
in
is
bed
one
taking a big
thing.
sniff going, oh, yeah.
There it is.
That's what I've been waiting on there. But,
There he is.
but back to that victim, Gacy kind of frequented this drugstore and told the guy, he's like, what do you make here? And the guy told him, he said, well, I can give you a job making double what you're making here. Just swing by the house later on today and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, Rob
And
was
that dude was
just
never
an
heard from again.
all-American kid that was saving up to buy a car, and he worked at Neeson's
That's
pharmacy.
right. Yeah.
And John had a contract with a lot of the local pharmacies that whenever they needed remodels or repairs or whatever, it was his company that they called. And so he did have business there that evening, like to pick up things, but he was there, over the matter of business. And he saw a gentleman that fit the, you know, the physical characteristics that he liked.
Yeah. And he was kind of
And
young.
yep, he was young. I think he was
Like
16, maybe 16,
15.
Yeah.
17, something.
But had it like a
And
muscular build, an athletic build.
yep, yep, tall, just nice looking boy. And they got to talking, and he found out that he was trying to save up for some particular kind of, muscle car. And he was like, I can pay you double essentially what you make here, and you can have that thing bought in no time. And he was like, absolutely. And he told his mom, hey, after I get off work, I'm got an interview with a guy about a construction job. And it was her birthday that night, and they were going to celebrate, and he never came home. She, came hunting him and couldn't find him, had no clue where he was. But the last person that he was with was John W. And that's what got him caught.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I don't know if you guys remember, but I do remember seeing the pictures on the news of them carrying out the white bags or the bags. They were in Tyvek suits and they were carrying out the bags with what was left of these guys buried under the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I did watch it. I don't remember it. Like, I remember Jeffrey Dahmer and that whole scene. I mean, that's burnt in my eyes from watching the news, but I
Oh, the
don't
barrels
remember.
coming out. Yeah. I
Yeah,
do remember that too. Yeah.
yeah. But no, to John, I think that was too early for me yet.
Oh yeah.
I would have
his
been all up on it, watching it, agreeing, yeah.
his first murder happened in 1972, and I think he married a second wife in 1971. So all of
Okay,
these happened while he was married to the second wife.
yeah,
Um, so there was one in 1972, and then one in 1975, and then lots from 76 to 78.
just lots.
Lots. But it's crazy to me that there was one in 72, just one, and then he
Hmm.
went 3 years, killed one more, and
And
then really just went all in.
yeah,
But him and his wife divorced in 1976, the second wife.
okay. So he
So,
had a lot of time on his
hmm
hands.
hmm
Yeah.
so
And
he and his wife divorced in 1976, and then that's when his killing spree really began.
Well,
well, he didn't have to hide
her
as much then.
her
Yeah.
complaints were valid complaints. She talked about he used to be very attentive to me. He used to, always make time for me. He always used to take care of every need that I had, and like everything stopped. Sex
Yeah.
stopped, communication stopped, everything stopped.
Yeah.
And he was not willing, to recognize that as being an issue. And so she just packed it up and dipped.
Well, and
And
I believe that he even told her that he was bisexual,
he did. He did.
and they had sexual intercourse on Mother's Day, and he told her that that would be the last time.
Last time.
This is the
Yeah.
last time you're ever getting this from me.
Hmm.
And back then, I mean, we're talking in the mid early
Mid
70s,
70s. Yeah.
Mhm.
that, being bisexual was frowned
Unheard
upon.
of.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was just not a thing.
Right.
And
Definitely not
to,
something that you'd want to boast on.
no. And, you know, that may have been about the time he finally decided, hey, I'm attracted to men and
Mhm.
I've had enough of you.
Hiding it. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
hiding bodies.
Yeah.
Well, and she had even like seen him bringing
She
like
did.
these teenage boys into the garage, and
Hmm.
she had found some like uh, gay pornography. And when she confronted Gacy about it, he was very, very offensive and, telling her that it was, kind of none of her business. So I think that kind of broke the camel's back.
Could have been.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think that was probably a little too much for her. She said, I don't care how much you support us financially. I need to be supported in other ways as well. And you're
Right.
not doing it.
Now, I remember there was Gacy sit down right before he got caught with it a lawyer, I think, and
Oh,
over
I
a
do
few
remember reading
drinks,
something about
yeah, over a
this.
few drinks, he started confessing to this lawyer
Hmm
Little
about
tiny fella.
everything.
Hmm.
And I mean, every detail. And it actually, I guess the lawyer, it kind of freaked him out, but he didn't want to stop. So he had a gun in his desk and he pulled the desk out and had his hand on that gun. That Gacy freaked him out that bad, confessing to all these murders.
Can you imagine? I
And this
mean,
Yeah.
is supposed to be his
pour
lawyer.
me 3 fingers of scotch. I got something I need to tell you.
Listen, by the time it was over, that whole bottle was
It
probably
was
gone.
7 fingers. But it's like, yeah. So I did watch an interview with that attorney, and he's got that really super thick Chicago
Yeah.
accent, and he's a very small framed man. I think he's only like 5'4", 5'5", dressed in his 3-piece suit, and he was really sad that they lost their case. But it's like you're pulling bodies
How do you?
literally from the earth underneath of where this man has lived for 15 years or whatever.
I plead
Not
not
much
guilty,
been
Your Honor.
known. Right. Right. But could you imagine, that conversation and how that went? It's like you think you're going to hear, some tragic news and then he dumps all of this out on you and it's like,
Yeah, and you wasn't
yeah,
even expecting any of it. You were just
Mm.
right,
kind of interviewing your client. And I think what the story went that he asked for a drink and drank it down and put the glass back on the desk. And he says, "What I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe," or
right,
something to that effect. And he just started spilling his guts.
right,
So yeah, put yourself in the lawyer's shoes now, and
right.
you're like,
Alone
"Oh my
in a
God."
room with someone that says that they have killed 30 plus people,
And went into
raped
detail.
them, right, and buried them under the house. My hand would definitely be on a firearm too.
And that's a common theme on serial killers. They can remember each individual to the
A
most
T.
minute detail
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
that is seared into their brain.
I really think that that's another one of those things that they tend to have is almost like a photographic
Yeah, it could be.
recorded memory,
Well, it's like people that's been
because
in combat. Um, they can remember every little thing about a battle. And I mean, 30, 40 years later,
right.
they can remember it and recall it just like it happened yesterday. It's just something that is literally burnt into your mind.
Well, for folks like John Wayne Gacy, I feel like that they have had that trait because it means so much to them to be able to go back in time and categorize, revisit all of their crimes. And because they do that so often, so many times, it literally is like breathing to them. They just constantly work in their memories of their memory banks of things that they've done. And it's so exciting, exhilarating, brings them so much happiness and joy that they can remember,
Oh yeah.
the least little details that they relive it every day.
Well,
And
if
it's
you
so sick.
think about it, that I don't know that most or all serial killers enjoy killing, but you take that in the context of just a normal person like any of us. When we have a good time doing something, we remember. We remember the details.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody says
Mm-hmm.
something, if somebody's funny at a barbecue or just
Mm-hmm.
you remember that. So if they enjoy this, you can remember every pretty much little detail if it you know it brings you
Yeah.
some type of enjoyment. So in I don't know that all serial killers enjoy killing,
Well,
but they
I
it's
will
just
say this. I did have I was able to correspond back and forth with one, and he said something to me that is like that, literally burnt in my memory. And he said, killing is like the thing that you wanted to do the most in your life. Think about that. The the one thing that you wanted more than anything, and you're doing it. And you feel the atoms in your body vibrating while you're doing it because you know that that's what you were supposed to do, what you wanted to do, what your desire was. And he said it's literally on an atomic, a cellular level for him.
right.
Like that's deep stuff to think about,
Oh yeah, absolutely is.
To me, that kind of makes me think like that's the devil really working on the brain,
girl.
you know? And some people might not believe and
Or
or they might have different views, but in my mind, that it's like,
oh no,
okay,
that's the
yeah,
devil.
That's the
Uh-huh.
That's
devil really working in your
yeah,
brain, wanting
yeah.
you to want
To
this,
want that.
to
Yes,
commit
ma'am.
that, to go
Hmm.
through with that.
So go to the tapes of, we've all seen the videos of Gacy doing the interviews and things, and him getting into details of all these murders that he committed. That it's, I don't want to say he wore it like a badge of honor, but you could ask him about a particular person. It was like BTK.
Oh,
He just
just
started talking about it
rattle.
like it was like I'm talking about going to the grocery store.
Well, fun fact also about him. So one of the last interviews he did, I believe it was in like 92. And he was being interviewed by this gentleman, and the man had asked him about his daily life. What, like, what's your daily life like now that you're incarcerated? And he said, basically, I keep a log every day of things that I do. He said, you could ask me what I ate on day 362 of my stay here, and I could go back and I could read it to you and tell you what I had for my three hots. I could tell you anybody that I've ever spoken with on the phone. I can tell you any time that, I was ever in any kind of trouble. Like, he literally has a book that he wrote in daily, hourly, about his, like, that's how meticulous he was. Kept like a like a recording essentially of his every single day locked
Wow.
up.
Again, that goes to that. And you know what? Bundy did something similar to that. He they write things down, and it
Hmm.
is so meticulous to the minute
Yep.
of whatever they done that day.
Yeah.
So again, that's that part of the brain that
It's like
kind
they're
of
afraid that they're going to
relive.
forget.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
it's
afraid
they
they're
can
going to
relive
forget
it.
it, so they have to make for sure that it's recorded and it's known.
And I remember watching these interviews with him, and it is just so nonchalant with him. It's just like we're talking now.
Hmm. Yeah, like you're ordering a pizza.
Yeah, and that, I mean, to know what you did and to know the families of these victims that will never see their loved ones again because
Hmm.
of you,
Hmm.
not because it was a tragic accident, it was because you
Right.
took their life and
Hmm.
just whatever, it's just
Yeah.
everyday life.
Yeah. You
Um,
just go on.
yeah, that's that part of the brain that doesn't know the difference between, morality and I don't even have a word for it. I guess immorality, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, he
So
definitely was cold, um, very flat in his effect as far as, with the things that he talked about and being okay with. And he would flat out tell you, I don't feel that I am homosexual. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it. But obviously you were,
Mhm.
because that's, who
That
you
was his
chose to
drive.
have sex
yeah.
with. Yeah, even though it was non-consensual.
Mhm.
Um, so he just lied pretty much to himself on the daily about his own wants. Call him what you want to, but he was a sick man. Sick
Well, and
So
man.
also, I kind of wonder if, he was so embarrassed by his sexuality, or wanted to hide it or cover it up to the point where
he
that's
would
why
murder.
he would kill them afterwards. He didn't
Yeah.
want to be exposed. Um,
Right.
but also it was, unconsensual. But it's like, why not go find a man your own age, Because they were all between like the age of 14. I think the
Well,
oldest one was like 21.
easy targets though.
Yeah, that's true.
You
That's
offer a young man that age at that time, hey, I can pay you
true.
double.
Right.
You
All
know,
they're seeing our dollar signs. They're not
Yeah,
thinking about the
absolutely.
logics.
I mean, you
Yeah.
don't go to a job interview thinking, I'm going to die,
Right.
you know? So, and especially, you know, in the 70s in Chicago, I mean, there were most of the serial killers at that point were West California, you know.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, you wouldn't even think of, you know, this guy's going to offer me a job. I need to go by his house, maybe sign some papers and, you know, whatever. And then next thing you know, you just never leave. So, but now, we're at the site of that house, they tore the house down, rightly so, but they did rebuild on it.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah, I
that.
saw that.
Yeah, there is a very, very nice house on that land right now.
I don't know if I would want my house built there.
No.
No, I can say I don't think I would either.
No.
Well, here's a crazy thing, and this, you know, I thought that too, until just 2 houses down from me a couple years ago, a man got murdered. Okay, in his home, he was shot 3 times, and you know, I was thinking, there's no way they're going to sell that house. No way they're going to sell that house, because I mean, in the state of Ohio, legally, if there's a murder, they have to tell you. So, and I'm
I
thinking,
think even if there's like a death, if somebody died in that house,
yeah.
right?
And I'm thinking, there is no way that, you know, if the realtor says, hey, there was a murder here, this guy was shot 3 times, blah, 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 blah. But that house sold. And they have made it a very nice house, you know.
The housing market 3 years ago, you know,
But they,
trying to find a home.
yeah, but they've made it
Maybe
a
you can
very
go for a
nice,
discount.
Yeah.
they've made it a very nice house.
But you know, I feel like one murder versus you know, 30
Yeah,
people being
That's
murdered
true.
in one house.
that's
I
true.
could take one ghost. I could deal with one soul.
But 30,
But 33
And
souls?
those are
Nope.
distressed, I
Yeah.
feel like.
yeah, no joke. So
They're
Stressed
distressed.
young boys? No.
right
I'm
before,
haunted by young boys.
right before they put Gacy to death, he had a very particular last request for dinner.
That's what I was gonna say. Yes, I'm glad you're mentioning it.
So who wants to tell?
He had to have him some KFC.
Some KFC. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know, it kind of, it's, you know, that's how I know things are in full circle, because it started with KFC and it ended with KFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, he never touched the first bite of anything.
That's right. You're right. He didn't. He never ate the first thing.
Yeah. Yeah. He asked for it was like 12 shrimp, a bucket of KFC, extra crispy.
Yeah.
Some kind of ice cream, some kind of this, and literally had it all there.
Strawberries and a Diet Coke.
There was strawberries. Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So,
and never touched it.
well, guys,
there were some people standing outside the prison when he was being put to death wearing shirts that said "No tears for the clowns."
For the clown. That's right. No tears for the clown.
No tears for the clown.
And that's kind of how it ended. So I guess the moral of this story is KFC and sodomy. I don't know if that's a moral, but
his final words spoken were "Kiss my ass."
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And off to sleep he went, because they I think it was lethal injection.
Yep.
There wasn't nobody else kissing his ass.
No. He's burning
and he
his
wasn't
ass.
kissing anybody else's ass. His ass is on fire.
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Another interesting show. I can't wait till next week. Guys, be sure and find us on nighthawk-radio.com. Live 365, look for Nighthawk Radio. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify under Nighthawk Radio. Go to the Facebook page, Nighthawk Radio, and find us. You can find past shows. Be sure, Friday, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., I'm sorry, Jimmy Haunted at the Haunted Chronicles. And 9 is going to be Awakening Radio, an old 2013 show with Junebug Fugit and Joe and myself. Be sure and catch these girls every Thursday at 8. And no, that's wrong, 7, right?
7.
Yeah.
The Mackenzie hour is
the McKenzie Hour at 8 o'clock. Be sure and check out our show, 7 p.m. at Sundays, Seth's Daily Podcast. I don't remember the times. I don't have it wrote in front of me, but it is on Sunday and Monday. And just be sure and check it out all the time. We're there all the time. So
we've got something for everybody.
That's right. And I mean, in October, Jimmy's doing a show every first Friday at 8 p.m. Every first Friday of the month. So
Preachers on Sunday. We all probably need to listen to that on that note.
For sure. So with that, guys, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And peace out.
Catch us next week.
Bye.